It's Jonathan Agnew here for Pro Boxing Fans. Delighted to be joined by the unified super lightweight champion of the world, Josh Taylor. Josh, how was your Christmas, New Year? All good?
Yeah, nice, nice and relaxed and quite quiet. I got to enjoy it for real, for the first time since I turned professional. I got to have the full turkey, the full dinner, the trimmings for the first time since I turned professional. So that's the first time in 5 or 6 years since I've been able to enjoy the Christmas dinner. So yeah, it's been good. It was nice and relaxed with the close family and the first one in our house. So yeah, it was good, real good. We enjoyed it.
I got to say, congratulations. Saw your Instagram. Got engaged to your missus. So yeah, congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's about time as well. It's about time, but you can't push these things. You can't rush these things.
It's going to be hopefully a big year for you, 2021. I'm sure you just want to get that Jose Ramirez fight done and out of the way. Before we get onto that, how's life in the new gym with Ben Davison MTK Performance Center?
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. We clicked straight away as soon as we sort of teamed up. We're flying in the gym, we're knowing each other, the way each other works and that now. And it's probably been a bit of a blessing in disguise in terms of all this lockdown carry on and getting a wee bit more time to sort of gel together and work together and know how each other works and what gets us going and stuff. So yeah, it's probably been a little bit of a blessing in disguise, all this. But yeah, it's brilliant. Just a completely different atmosphere from what I was in before. Much more laid back. I'm relaxed. I'm happy, and everyone's just flowing nicely. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the new camp and the new setup, and everyone's good. Everyone's sweet, real good. I'm really enjoying it.
What do you think?
Ben's a class coach as well. Ben's a coach that's a couple of years younger than me as well, which is very unusual for a coach. I would say is one of the best coaches in the world. His knowledge of the sport is unbelievable, way beyond his years. It's amazing. I'm learning every day in the gym with him. It's brilliant. I couldn't praise him enough. Actually, it's really good coach.
I was going to ask: is there any one thing you can sort of, tell us that he's really changed about you or added to your game that maybe you didn't have before?
Listen, you'll see in the next couple of fights. I'm not going to be telling away what I've been working on and things like that. So you'll see in the next couple of fights what I've been working on. Just more complete, more all round. Even touching back on basics and things that I'm already good at, but I kind of neglected in my last couple of fights. So just all more all round polished and complete.
Your victory over Appen and Konsong, 1 round. You know what? Watching back, he was throwing some heavy-handed shots at you. What was it like in there?
Well, listen, he came out straight away and he sort of threw a 1-2 at me. The backhand, it never hit me, but it hit the glove, and the glove hit me in the face, and I thought, whoa, the power and the force behind it. It was like, fuck, I don't want to be getting hit with them. That's like it's concussive power that he had. He never ever hit me clean. But you can just sense with someone what kind of power they've got. And he came out with that 1-2, and I thought, oh, like, don't want to be getting hit with one of them, mate. Your lights out, So it kind of woke me up straight away, and I kind of got into a nice rhythm, relaxed. But he was coming there to win. Everybody got a lot of stick from that after me taking him out in 1 round. I got a lot of stick saying, oh, he dive and take money. And he came out there and threw shots at me straight away, trying to take my head off. And every time I was sort of threatening to throw a punch, he was ready to react to try and take my head off, And the shot that I caught him with was the shot that we were working on. We knew in the clinch, he always tries to hold, and then he throws a wild hook off the clinch. And we knew we were working on getting the head off the line and sinking that left hook under the body. And I hit him with it, and it hit him sweet right in the ribs. I felt it sinking right in. It didn't look much of a punch, but it was a good shot. I felt it was sinking right in, and obviously went down, and we figured out that he had a bit of a sort of bad injury as well. So it was a really good shot. It was quite one that you didn't really see unless you saw that angle in the slow motion. But it was a good shot. It was a very good shot.
I mean, for those watching, they often say the body shots are, worse to get hit with than the headshots. Is that correct?
Yeah, 100%. If you get hit with a good body shot, it's taking you out. You can't. It takes the wind out your sails. You know, you can't breathe. You can't get oxygen into you. It's one of the hardest things to take if you get hit with a proper good body shot.
All roads lead to the undisputed fight with Jose Ramirez. Have you got any news for us on, any developments on this fight?
No news. Again, I should be sitting here talking to you already as undisputed world champion. I should have boxed him. Probably been a boxed the Thai guy, the Thai fighter, Apnon Kong Song. I probably should have fought him round about then last year. But it is what it is. You know, we're meant to be boxing in February, March, but then it's been put back again. So we don't know. Maybe April, May. Don't know. But still haven't heard any word yet. But all I know is I'll be ready as soon as I get the phone call. I'll be ready anyway.
What do you make of Jose Ramirez as a fighter?
He's a very good fighter. Unified world champion for no reason. He's tough. He comes forward. He puts the pressure on. Front foot fighter. He mixes the combinations well. He's a good body puncher. There's a lot of praise to be said about him. He is very good fighter. There's no questioning that. But I just believe that I'm better than him. I'm better than him every department. I punch just as hard as him. I'm stronger than him. I've definitely got the better boxing IQ and the boxing brain. I'm more intelligent than him. I've got more to my game. I do believe he fights one way, and it's the only way he can fight. So we'll see what happens on the fight night. But I just believe I can outfight him, I can outbox him, and I can outpunch him. I just believe it's my fight to lose. It's down to me in the way I fight and the way I take that fight on.
I mean, some people were critical of his performance against Victor Postol, who, of course, you beat as well. Did you manage to watch that fight at all?
I did, yeah. I watched it a couple of days the morning after. I scored the fight a draw, personally. I've only watched it once, but I scored the fight a draw. Thought Postol made him look silly for the first half of the fight. He come back into it for the middle rounds, middle sort of late rounds, and then the last round, Postol and that again come back into it, making him miss and hit him with the jab, and just by simple boxing, making him look really silly. I'll give Ramirez the benefit of the doubt. He had 3 camps leading up to that fight. It might have been, I'm giving him a wee bit of an excuse here later, a get out sort of thing for his performance. But he did have 3 camps leading up to that fight. Which is peaking 3 times. So it might have taken something out of his body, but that's the only thing. That's the only kind of half excuse I can give him. But I didn't think it was a very good performance at all.
He's unbeaten, you're unbeaten. I mean, this can only be a great fight for the undisputed title.
Yeah, it's going to be a good fight, and it's going to be a good fight while it lasts. I do believe I'm going to knock him out. I do believe I'm going to walk him onto a shot. If not, outgun him and walk him onto a shot as well. So it'll definitely be a great fight while it lasts. It will be full of action, 100%. Because he comes to fight, leaves it all in the ring. I certainly come to fight as well. So there's not going to be any running. There's not going to be any trying to steal the fight. It's going to be fire with fire, and I believe I've got the bigger guns.
Where do you rank him in terms of any of your previous opponents?
He's up there, definitely. He's good. He's unified world champion. I believe I've already beaten the other fighter, the best in the division. I'm the best in the division, I believe. But I believe I've already beaten the second best in the division in Regis Prograis. So I think I'd place him number 3 at the minute.
Where do you reckon, if you had to, guess, I guess, where do you think this fight might land? Do you think you're going to have to travel for it?
Listen, I'm up for travelling. I would much rather it be away. I'd much rather it be in America. That's these fights. These are dream fights. Become an undisputed world champion in a big fight in America. That's what I want to do. So if it's in America, happy days. I'd love it to be in the East Coast in New York, Madison Square Garden. I'd love it to be there. If not, we'll go to his backyard in the West Coast. and take it off from there as well. I'm really easy wherever it is, but I think it'll be in America, which is really good. If you can get in Scotland or UK, brilliant. But I'd love for it to be in America.
I mean, it's great because if you were to be successful, you would become the first undisputed champion since Ken Buchanan.
Yeah.
What does that number one mean to you, and how do you sum up sort of your friendship relationship with Ken? I know you've met him a few times.
It's just a marvelous piece of history and a marvelous story, isn't it? Two guys from the same sort of area of the world. Edinburgh. His wife was from my hometown as well, Preston Pans. He's got a son that's from Preston Pans as well, who I actually trained with in the first part of when I very first started boxing. His son Raymond, I trained with him, and that's how I got to know of Ken Buchanan. And then when I got shown a few videos of him, that was me. I loved it. And a guy from Edinburgh was the top best fighter on the planet. Fought Roberto Duran and had shared the dressing room with Muhammad Ali, and fought all his best fights. Fought just about all his career in America. And he's a hero over there. He's a hero over there, and he's one of the best fighters to ever do it in the UK. Certainly the best Scottish fighter, I believe, in my book, that's ever done it. So to be even mentioned in the same sentence as Ken Buchanan is just it's a real honour, and I trained with him in Loch End as well. My coach Terry McCormack is very close with him. He come in with Loch End, and when I was a young whippersnapper coming through, he'd come in and watch me hitting the bags, and and give me advice on training and how to live life and live the life and all that, and tell me all his fight stories. Amazing. So to be the first guy to do it since that guy's done it, and it's myself, possibly, potentially, that's just a great piece of history, and what a story, and I can take all the belts back and go and see him, and hopefully he's not in too well condition at the minute. He's not keeping very well. He was in a home and a hospice, so hopefully if everything gets back to normal, we can get back and take the belts to him and say, look, I've done it for you, champ. And it's been it's a real nice story to tell, but I've got that final hurdle to get over, and I've got to smash Ramirez to do it, and I believe I will.
Right. I mean, I wasn't aware of that, so send our best to Ken, legend of the sport. There was a great picture, I've got to admit, between you two when you got the Ring magazine belt as well. I think he had ring belt as well. Is that correct?
Yeah. He got the Ring magazine belt as well. He come down to my house when his carers got in touch after I won the belt. Says he wants to come down and see you. So he come down and see me, and had a cup of tea and had a blether, and and just sat down and spoke, and says, I told you were going to be a world champion one day, son. You've done it. You've proved me right. And it was brilliant. So we've got I had to get a couple of photos with him. He's a Tartan legend. He's the best fighter to come out of Scotland. So yeah, it was real nice for him to come down and see me and congratulate me.
Do you think if you were to win this fight, you would go down as the best fighter from Scotland, or do you think you still have more to achieve? I'm sure you want to achieve more, but where does this fight place you in terms of Scottish history?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I don't think about that, to be honest. I'm not doing it for any recognition. I'm not in the sport to do it for being touted as this and touted as that. I'm in it to be the best that I can be, and push myself to the limits. I still feel if I win this fight, when I win this fight, I still feel I've got more to do, more to prove, and more to achieve. I don't believe I've reached my full potential yet. I do believe I've got more to achieve and more to do. So I'm really, really not interested in being touted as the best boxer out of Scotland. I'm not interested in competing with anybody else. I'm really proud of all my fellow Scotsmen that have been there and done the world champion and put Scotland on the map. I'm proud of Scott Harrison. I'm proud of Ricky Burns. I'm proud of Alex Arthur. I'm proud of Ken Buchanan. I'm proud of Jim Watt. They've all done great things in their own right and achieving what they've done and becoming world champion. Ricky Burns, the latest one, 3-weight world champion. It's a brilliant achievement. And he should be spoken about more. He should be up there. It's a real shame that us Scots fighters achieve good things, don't get spoken about enough, and don't get recognised enough. But I'm really not interested in that. I'm not interested in competing with anybody else. I'm proud of what everybody else has done, and I'm just there to try and do the best that I can do.
Brilliant. Your name's always linked with other fights. I know you're fully focused on Ramirez, but just a few names I just wanted to get your opinion on. I spoke to Regis Prograis a few months back, and he says that one day he thinks you guys should have a rematch. He said the first fight was close and it was a great fight, and he hopes that there'll be a rematch between you two. Do you see that ever happening again?
Yeah, listen, why not? You know, it was a good fight. It was a great fight. You know, I believe I was the clear winner of that fight by a couple of rounds. You know, don't get me wrong, it was close, very competitive, but I do believe I was a clear winner by a couple of rounds in that fight. Sorry, I have to get ring there. Just had my lunch. Yeah, it's I do believe it was a very good fight. It was a very close fight. Yeah, down the line, yeah, 100%. I think it can happen again. Why not? You know, but at this moment in time, I've got other things in my sights. You know, I've got undisputed world champion to achieve and overcome. You know, I've got that fight to do. Then possibly there's other massive fights out there at the time. You know, but having said that, that fight's always there to happen. You know, regardless if it's for a title or not. You know, if things don't go my way, that fight's still there against me and Progress. You know, because it was such a good fight. You know, it's a good fight anyway. So yeah, I do believe it will happen again at some point. But at this moment in time, not at the minute. I've got other things on my mind. You know, I've got other things on my sights and other targets to reach at the minute. But yeah, 100%. I don't rule out another fight with him. You know, we could have 3-4 fights, like the olden days. You know, you never know. But I won't rule it out. So yeah, we'll wait and see.
What did you make? I don't know if you saw Teofimo Lopez's comments. He said he thinks you'll win. He wants you to win against Ramirez and fight you in the UK.
So another fight that can happen. You know, I'm not ruling it out, but I think he needs to defend his titles. Forget about me for the minute. There's a lot of good fights at lightweight there that he can prove that he is the best. Completely secure his legacy at lightweight. So yeah, that's another one that if he comes up, I believe I'll beat him as well. I do really believe I can beat him as well. It's funny how his ego's just exploded now, you know. But I'd like to take him down. I'd like to cut him down to size.
Do you think, you know, these lightweights that everyone's talking about, him, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, they're all going to move up, and that might keep you at 140 as well? Or is your plan more to just move up to 147 at some point?
Listen, I don't know. You know, I've not got a plan. I'm making 140 very comfortable at the minute. You know, the big fight, I call it the sexy fights. You know, the sexy fights are at 147. All the big fights are at 147. Your Terence Crawford, your Manny Pacquiao's, your Keith Thurmans, your Sean Porters, you know, your Errol Spence's. These are all massive, massive fights. You know, these guys are the best in the business at the minute. So naturally, yeah, go up to 147 and try myself up there. If another big fight comes at 140, these guys come up at 140 and everything's right, then why not? I believe I beat every single one of them. So I'm easy about fighting anybody. As long as it's on my terms and what I want to do. You know, I'm not going to stand and go, I'll fight you, blah, blah, blah. I've got my own plans and my own goals and ambitions that I want to do. If that's right at the time, for me at the time, I'll do it.
It's funny you mentioned Manny Pacquiao, because as I believe it, and you can confirm it, you've named your dog after him. Is that correct?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, the Pac-Man. Yeah, I did.
So, I mean, what would it mean if, I mean, I don't know if it would happen because he's talking about fighting Conor McGregor, but if you one day cross paths with him?
Oh, brilliant. You know, that's the thing that dreams are made of, you know. Like, imagine, like, I idolised Manny Pacquiao for so many years. You know, every time I went to the gym, I tried to copy him, all this shadow boxing stuff, the fast feet and running, doing all his sit-ups. I even got my coach, you had a long pole with a hardwood, doing all my ab stuff, you know. Like, I copied him for years, you know, trying to do things the way he done it and watched them. And, you know, I just loved them. You know, I went over to LA in 2009 and then again in 2012. But in 2009, Manny Pacquiao was there. And Freddie usually shuts the gym off to watch him sparring that, but he let us stay in. My coach Terry is quite friendly with Freddie Roach. Mm-hmm. So he let us stay in the gym and watch the sparring session, and it was just amazing, you know. So to share a ring with your hero, somebody who you've idolised, it's a dream come true. It's a dream come true.
Did you get to speak to him at all?
I never really got a chance to speak to him, unfortunately, because he had all his bouncers and that around him when we were in the gym. You never really got to go near him, but it was just an honour being in the gym with him and watching him sparring, watching him work and training. It was brilliant. He signed a glove for me and wrote to my name on it, and I've got that framed in the house. I've got that in a case in the house. I've got on display in the house. A red winning glove. So yeah, it's to share a ring with my hero. It would be absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
I just imagine being in that wild card generally was a pretty amazing experience.
Yeah, brilliant, amazing. Just such a good gym, and I learned so much for the 2 trips of being over there. I learned so much over there. It's really, really good, really cracking setup. It was a real eye opener to the professional boxing when I was just a young kid.
Just a couple more, Josh. We mentioned 147 and 140. 135. Who do you see as sort of the best at 135? First of all, everyone's talking about, and who do you see the best at 147?
At 135, lightweight is quite obviously. Teofimo Lopez has got a couple of belts, so he's one champion there. But it's very very tight there. Do you know what I mean? You've got Lomachenko still. I do believe if a rematch was that to happen again, it might be a different result. Especially if Lomachenko's fully fit and injury free, might be a different result. You've got. I don't believe Garcia's there yet. I think he's got a lot of development to do still. Even though he did well in dismantling Luke Campbell, he did well. I still believe he's got a lot of development to do. I thought at times just very inexperienced and not a lot of head movement from him. Very vulnerable, very easy target to hit. He was very open for that shot, pulling it with his hands down and stuff. But he's a very, very good talent. So he's definitely there. There's Gervonta Davis as well. So I think that fight between Lopez and Tank's a great fight. I think that's a great fight. And also Devin Haney as well. Devin Haney's there as well. He's a great talent as well. So that, I think it's hard to say who is the best in that division. But obviously you've got to go with who's got the belts, who's number 1 at the minute, which is Lopez. And who's the other champion at lightweight?
Devin Haney, WBC, Teofimo Lopez, and Gervonta Davis got the WBA regular. Yeah,
I'll say they three. Obviously, you have to say at the minute Lopez because he's got the most belts, but it's hard to say for sure who is number 1 at that division because they're all very good fighters, and that's fights that you could have another golden era age with the 4 kings, Leonard and Hagler and Hearns, doing that sort of stuff, So I think that's there's massive fights to be made at that fight division as well to see who's number 1.
Who would you pick between Garcia and Tank? They're talking about fighting next.
I think Tank. I think he's more poised. He's got a little bit more to his game. His boxing IQ and plus his power is devastating. He hides it well as well. He disguises and sets things up really well. So I think Tank wins that fight.
And what about 147? Do you think Crawford's the number 1?
I think Crawford and Spence are the number 1s. In that division. Yeah, I think I'm probably leaning more towards Spence at the minute. I just think his natural size plus his boxing ability and his IQ as well. So I think Spence probably number 1, Crawford 2. Very close,
Interesting. Just 2 more, Josh. The whole of Britain want to see that big fight, Joshua and Tyson Fury this year. How much do you want to see that, and who would you edge towards?
Oh yeah, I'd love to see that fight. It has to happen. It has to happen. It's like the biggest fight in boxing at the minute. Everybody's talking about it. They've been talking about it for an awful long time, but I think the 3rd match with Wilder is pointless. Fury's already beat him twice in my book. In my opinion, I think Fury's already beat him twice. So I think the 3rd fight's pointless. So I think they have to get that fight on as soon as possible, and it's all the belts are in Britain, in the heavyweight division for I think the first time ever, is it? Must be.
Yes,
Yeah. So Is it the first time ever, or did Lennox Lewis have them on?
Well, it's the first time I think with the WBO belt, because that's the new, isn't it?
So all the belts, the first time
right.
ever. So all the belts in Britain at the heavyweight division, it's just got to happen. It's the biggest fight in boxing. It's a great fight. It really is a great fight. I do believe Tyson Fury wins that fight if he keeps it long and boxes AJ. Keeps him moving and keep him guessing what he's going to do and outbox him, outsmart him, outmaneuver him. I think that's Fury's fight to lose then, if he keeps it in boxing, but then if AJ gets up, if he gets to mid to close range, AJ is very dangerous. He keeps it tight and compact with his uppercuts, left hook and straight rights, left hook, and he mixes up the punches well, and he carries the power through the combinations with the speed as well. So he's a big strong lump too. So if Fury decides to then stand in the middle or meet him in the middle and have a fight, I think Joshua could maybe catch him a shot, and then will he get back up? We don't know. He's got up before against the biggest puncher in the world, but you never know. It will be a very interesting fight, but I do believe it's AJ's fight on points. I think Fury's fight on points. I think.
And I just wanted to ask you quickly who you thought the pound for pound top three are currently, if you had a choice.
Terence Crawford at the minute, number one, I think. Canelo number one. Canelo number one. Terence Crawford number two. Number three, I don't know. I don't really know. You need to ask me again on that one. I don't really sure. What's your opinion?
Staying on the fence.
Staying on the fence. No, I'm not really sure. I think Canelo's number one. I think he's proved that. He's number one. I think Terence Crawford number two. I don't know. Number three, I don't know. I'm not really sure.
All right, fair enough. And just lastly, I did a bit of research before we came on, and I didn't know this. You actually started before boxing in Taekwondo. Is that correct?
Yeah.
What do you remember about that?
I was a black belt in Taekwondo when I was younger. It wasn't the Olympic style one, where it's just all point scoring and tippy tappy. It was the full contact one where you could have a fight. It was good, really good. I really enjoyed it. So I got a black belt when I was about 13 when I got a black belt. Went to European Championships, got a bronze medal. Was British champion at it as well. So yeah, I've been fighting all my life really. Been fighting all my life.
Fantastic. Josh, any last message to your fans?
No, just thanks for the continued support. Hopefully this journey continues along the road, and we can do it for a long time, a number of years, and I'm involved in big fights. I keep entertaining you all. Thank you for the support. During this difficult time, I hope you're all keeping safe and well and keeping positive minded and trying to keep upbeat about everything. Hopefully it doesn't last too much longer and we get back to normal life soon. So just want to say thank you.
Perfect. Josh Taylor, really appreciate you giving us all this time today. And have a good weekend. Take care, and hope we'll catch up again.
I do.